So if we're seeking a higher experience, what's going to happen initially is the challenge to clear the lower experience. So if you're seeking a higher relationship, a higher frequency, what you're going to be presented with is your unresolved frequencies with men, be it your father, co-workers, and ex-partners or present partner. Those triggers will be presented to be resolved, which will offer you the opportunity to raise your frequency, to interact with a higher man, with a divine masculine man, and that can be your own partner. His energy will rise as your energy rises. It's worth pointing out, that often women are closed-hearted until they meet that divine masculine man. And that's not the way the world works. As we open our hearts and risk being hurt and become vulnerable, step into that vulnerability, we present that higher frequency and that openness to the world, which draws in a higher frequency man or someone to meet us on that level. If we walk around with a closed heart and protected and being safe and waiting, there's no growth and there's no movement in waiting for a higher man. Nothing happens. It's your responsibility to present your higher energy to the world, to take that risk. But to keep in mind that your triggers will then be activated and will be presented, and it's your responsibility to work through them, to integrate and resolve them, make peace with them, to move higher. So I'll give you an example. If you're looking to only work with, engage with, date, meet, associate with higher men, you might be quite lonely. Not many out there. But also, this energy is within every man, every boy. So I do come across and hear from time the frustration, obviously, of women. They're sick of men, they're tired of men, they're tired of boys, they're tired of men indulging in status and sex and money and power and these kind of things. And your frustration or your anger at this type of man or this energy is your anger. It's your responsibility to integrate that and make peace with that. You're not going to go very far if you're expecting the men of the world to change for you. And life is short, so there's not much point either in locking yourself away and waiting. You'll be waiting a long time. So it's your role and responsibility. As I was told in a medicine ceremony 2.5 years ago, it's the queens who raise the kings. So men want women. They want that divine feminine. They're seeking that higher energy. And plenty of men are lost and they don't know why. They don't really know what they're looking for. They're unaware. Plenty. And all they have are the tools that they've attached to, which is status and money and power and all these things, which women are drawn to too. And women like men who have these things. So maybe women play a little bit of responsibility in that as well. So men are drawn to these things, but ultimately men want to dissolve into the feminine. They want to surrender in their own way to feminine energy, to be lost, so that they can then be balanced and they can work and be active in the world. So you, dear listener, you have a responsibility too. If you're a woman, you have a responsibility to bring your higher energy and your love and your open heart, your flow of love to the world. And not just to these supposed higher men. To the boys too. To those who are lost in status and in sex and in power and all that stuff. So if I decided that I would only work with higher or divine feminine women, I wouldn't be working with anyone. I'd be on my lonesome. So it's my responsibility to recognize the divine feminine in all women, in 80-year-old women who are hunched over and walking with the cane, in young girls, in teenage or 20-something girls who are lost in their image and that Instagram model type. They believe that all they are is this sexual image, this physical being, and how they present this to the world they believe is all important. So it's my role to see beyond that and see past it. And also the frustrated and angry women and the feminists. And as I was told, the lesbians who may poke me in the chest and say, how dare you think you can work with the Divine Mother and the Divine Feminine. It's my role to see the Divine Feminine in these people too. Just as it's your role and responsibility to see beyond your prejudice and your own unresolved and unintegrated frustration or trauma with men, to work through that, to see the potential and the divine masculine within these lost boys or lost men, confused, and to offer them a higher energy. And I will guarantee you that as you present yourself in a higher energy, and I know already that you've had experiences of it, as you've presented this energy, and I don't mean uppity, and I don't mean strong, I mean vulnerable, I mean in the flow of love, I mean present. I don't mean preaching and quoting fucking spiritual texts or, patting them on the head, telling them how evolved you are. Put that shit in the bin. I mean being present, allowing your open heart, allowing from midway down your thighs, allowing an open energy right the way up through all your bits and being, through the vulnerability and softness of your solar plexus, of your tummy, of your chest, of your heart, of your throat, to open your energy and allow and be present. This infects and alters and changes men and boys. And you'll have seen this, and you can test this, and you will witness the change and the experience. They'll interact differently with you. If you trade on your anger or frustration or defensiveness or sexuality, they will trade on that too, and you'll have a different response. So it's up to you to decide what frequency you want, what type of interactions you want with people, with men. I appreciate and I know that women listening to this love men, as I love women. And I know you're seeking a higher communication and interaction with them. At times you may feel tortured because you want that deeper interaction. I don't mean just in intimate relationships. I mean just the connection. Passing men in the street, or boys or teenagers in a supermarket. Just that interaction with the masculine energy. That's what you're seeking. So that's honourable. And it's your frustration that blocks that. So just to be aware that seeking and moving towards a higher interaction, you will draw in lower interactions from time to time to test you. It's your higher self testing you. Can you see the divine masculine in this man, in this moment? And can you integrate and make peace with whatever he triggers in you, whatever comes up in you, whatever is presented? Or will you run? Will you blame him? Will you call him toxic? Will you cut him off? Will you argue? Will you close up your own heart? Can you view these men as kings? The potential. Can you give these men your open heart, your perfume, your eyes, your sex, your smell, your smile, your light? Can you bring this to the world? Are you ready? Are you able? Are you tired of how you've been so far? Are you tired of being closed and shriveled up and defensive? Can you bring your flow, your dance, your colour, your creativity? Men love this. I love this. We love the colour. We love the creativity. We love the light of women. That's what we seek. It changes us. It lifts us. So don't expect to sail off into the sunset, with some tall, dark and handsome guy. We all fluctuate between the higher and the lower as we're working through these layers. So it's worth allowing that. Allow other people, allow men to be on this journey. Allow them time and space to find themselves as you are finding yourself. As you descend into your lower bullshit at times and your manipulation or your nagging. How dare I? That's okay. You have your roller coaster of emotions, which is very challenging for men as well. So we're both sexes are challenged. We give each other space and permission to go on this journey. But how we respond is our responsibility. What we present to the world, what we present to the other sex. I work with women, and if you're a woman listening to this, you wouldn't want to hear me say, oh, they're toxic and they're too low and I'm not working with her. Or that I maybe manipulate them or toy with them or tease them. You wouldn't want to hear that. You'd probably feel it in your gut, in your heart, and think, oh, that doesn't feel right, that doesn't sound right. I don't want to hear that either about men. I don't want to hear women say that about men, that they're just boys or that they're whatever. I can understand it. But if we're moving to a higher space, a higher energy, we have to be open to observe the opposite sex differently, with a bit more awareness or understanding of what they're dealing with. We don't necessarily have to understand it, but just allow permission. We all have our off days. Now, providing these people are trying, if they're making an effort, for me that goes a long way. If there are men out there who are just abusing women, just picking up women asleep with them or rob them or abuse them, yeah, I mean, I don't have any time for that. But if there are men, which there are men who are trying to be better, who are trying to be higher, and a higher woman really helps that. Even in the moments she can present that open heart or that compassion or empathy or flow of love or colour or light or whatever you want to call it, that lifts men. It allows a bit of space. It raises him up a little bit more. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. It can just be someone you pass in the street or in a shop, a smile, anything. It just lifts. It's less division between the sexes. We're not against each other. We're looking to work together. Interdependent. So you've got to earn the divine masculine man in your life or divine feminine woman. You have to earn her. As I said in a previous video, we can't just walk around thinking, I'm in my divine masculine, or I am the divine feminine. I am the queen. That's not enough. That's lazy. This is ongoing work, and it entails acknowledging our own weaknesses and our own trauma, our own projection, and our own bullshit that we project onto other people and onto the world, and releasing that, healing that, contemplating that. Why is that being presented? What does it mean? How do I work through this? Integrating our shadow. That's the work that I do with women. Making peace with this toxicity or these patterns of dysfunction. That's your responsibility. You have to earn that relationship with the higher man. He's not just going to be drawn to you. So the divine man or the divine woman did not just arrive at divinity. They've dug through trauma, sexual abuse, maybe addiction, depression, years of pain, of being lost, of not feeling a part of the world, of not feeling a part of their friends or family, confusion. It's a lonely road. You know, to work into that point takes a lot of time and effort. And that's ahead of a lot of people, and a lot of people are in it. So when we look at the opposite sex, it's worth considering that at times people don't have it easy to have a little bit of compassion or empathy. I'll leave it at that. I hope you got something of interest from this video. If you did, I encourage you to share it with other people. If there's someone you know who you think might get something from this, might resonate, please, because I'm trying to share my message and I'm trying to reach more people. Share it on Facebook or an email or whatever it is. And Follow me on Instagram. I'll put a link below for my newsletter, and enjoy your day. Thanks for listening.